Saavi Services for the Blind introduces ABC Ability Builds Confidence. Discover a life after vision loss.
Hello, Melanie Milady here, or Lady Milady, Countess of Canes. I'm here today to talk to you about how I changed my cane tip. Why I want to talk to you about how I changed my cane tip is because cane tips do wear out. And you don't need to replace your cane just because your tip wore out or broke or came off. The tip is very easy to replace, and so I'd like to show you how to do that today. Most of you are going to be probably carrying a long white cane, rigid cane, with a metal tip. This metal tip's called the NFB tip. Your tip may come off because it got stuck on something, and oftentimes the metal can wear down and just the metal top is going to come off. When that metal top comes off, we call it flat tire. So it's pretty funny to say that as you're walking you got a flat tire because it's just the rubber at that point. To take it off, if you needed to, it's just going to come off like that. It has a screw and some washers underneath it. That's what secures it on there. Some people think they had to glue it on or you twist it on. No, it's just a piece of rubber that fits around that screw and washer. When you get a new tip, what I like to do is hold it in the palm of my hand and push it from the side, not the top. I don't push it from the top like that, like you would think you need to do. I come at it from the side and with the palm of my hand because that's going to have the most pressure. And I push it on top. So I ease it from the side and try to push it onto the top. And then it comes on like that. This one came on a lot more easily because I had just taken it off and it was a little bit worn in. Sometimes when you get a new one, the rubber is really stiff, so it might be take a little more pressure or oomph. So work at it to push it on. Don't think you're a weakling or that you got it wrong if you don't get it on the first try. Getting that pressure and pushing it on. And remember, you can pause this video as much as you want to take time to try different methods of taking on and off these cane tips. Again, when I took it off, sometimes you have to wiggle it back and forth to get it off. And you will have to take the rubber piece off if just the metal came off. The folding canes can come with a hook tip or a slide-on tip. The slide-on doesn't mean it has to be this big ball, and the hook doesn't mean it has to be this marshmallow. These are just two examples I have. How you know the difference is the hook tip goes completely into the shaft of the cane, whereas the push-on goes over it. So you might feel the outside of the tip. You can feel where it ends, where you cannot feel where it ends on the hook tip. On the hook tip, you're gonna pull, and it's gonna be stuck to some elastic, and you're gonna pull till a white piece comes out. That white piece is a stopper, because if you let it go without that white piece coming off and you unhook it, the elastic is gonna shoot in there, and you don't want that because it takes some finessing to get it out. You can either use a coat hanger to get it out if it shoots in there, or taking your cane apart and pulling on the elastic and trying to shove it back up. It just takes some work. Sort of like if you have a cord in your sweater that comes out, working it back out. The hook tip is just a hook. So that hooks onto the elastic. So if you need to replace it, want to change out which type of cane tip it is, you wanted the pencil tip, you want a metal tip, you can switch it out. Then you want to pull again and make sure that that piece goes back into that shaft. It goes in, and then it snaps back in very easily. Just be careful not to pinch your finger in, as you push it back in. The push-on or slide-on tip, you have to basically unscrew to get it off. It's going to have a stopper as well that's connected to the elastic, and you just push on a new tip with the push-on. Sometimes this one can be harder if you've used this cane a lot, so you might need to use the door frame. That's what I use. I use the door jamb when I'm having trouble with any cane tip, because you want to use something that's at your home. We don't want you to have to go buy a tool to get a cane tip off when there's so many things you can use around your house that help. So even with the metal NFB tip, I have been known to have to use the door jamb, and that's putting it between the hinge and the door, putting the tip in there and closing the door slightly to give you some pressure, and then you can yank on the cane in different ways. Just because I don't have enough muscles, and sometimes don't have enough hands where I need that extra hand so I can use both my hands. I'm gonna demonstrate that in the door here. So you're gonna wanna stick the cane in between the door and the hinge. You can even rest it on the hinge or the door frame and rest it on the hinge. You're gonna wanna close it. It's creating a vise. So you're gonna pull. Sometimes you need to hold the door closed. So you can wiggle it and it comes off. As seen, no more tip.